Hello and welcome back to the channel for a brand new video. So some more details have been going around online about this new deal between Doctor Who and Disney Plus. This article from Broadcast, which says Disney Plus deal set to transform Doctor Who. That was published on the 7th of November, which will be pretty close to when you're watching this, when this goes out. And the sort of subheading there says, budget for BBC's time-travelling franchise estimated to soar to 100 million. Now, the article itself is hidden behind a paywall, but the details of it have basically leaked online, or not leaked, but just kind of been shared online, been distributed on various other sites and other places reporting on this. Basically, the kind of crux of it seems to be that the show's current budget per episode, which is apparently £1 to £3 million per episode, is set to be sort of tripled, at least basically to sort of a figure around 10 million. Now, those figures kind of mean nothing to me, really, to be honest. You know, I'm not an expert on this sort of stuff. You know, I watch Doctor Who, I don't really know how much it costs to make an episode of Doctor Who, but hey, that's what they're reporting. So currently it's 1 to 3 million, and it's set to be sort of around 10 million per episode under this partnership between the BBC and Disney Plus. So this has got a lot of people talking online, a lot of people speculating about what it could mean. I believe as well the original article, possibly hinted at future spin-offs. Maybe not being in development at the moment, but sort of being part of this deal, part of this partnership. You know, basically it looks like, you know, there is funding going in there, as was speculated, you know, from Disney Plus. And the show's budget is set to soar, as is being reported here. So in terms of what I thought of this, you know, when I first saw it on Twitter or whatever, I think there's a part of me that sort of sees things like this and sort of thinks, okay, you know, that this is very different for the show. It could go either way, sort of thing. Like, obviously, you know, it is great to have more budget and stuff. You know, you can have more people working on your show. You can have a high caliber of actor. You can have more actors, you know, more episodes potentially, more spin-off shows and stuff. You know, that's all the kind of stuff that this could mean. I mean, obviously, none of that is a guarantee. But bigger sets, you know, better visual effects and stuff, you know, everything. That would obviously be huge for the show, be really, really great in terms of, you know, having more believable alien worlds or monsters or whatever, or creatures, or just everything, you know, visual effects. So there is that on the one hand. I think on the other hand, there is a part of me that looks at this as a Doctor Who fan and sort of thinks, you know, Doctor Who is a show that's never had too much money. It's always kind of worked magic with not great budgets, you know, across its 60-year history. And, you know, obviously we have seen sort of developments along the way, and the show sort of embracing new technology, new opportunities and things. You know, when they had the comeback back in 2005, or even, you know, further back when the show went into colour, you know, when they were experimenting with things like CSO, colour separation overlay, the sort of forerunner of green screen and TV and stuff like that. You know, the show has never shied away from that, and in particularly in the most recent era as well, with a double negative, working on the visual effects with Ben Pickles, the Doctor Who fan who got to work on the show. He's recently released his show reel, did loads of great shots and stuff on the show, including the regeneration for Jodie. Go and check that out if you haven't already, it's fantastic. But yeah, you know, the bar has been getting higher, I suppose, over the years, and particularly with the Chibnall Whittaker era, you know, they were kind of thinking, you know, more seriously about trying to, you know, kind of match, or not match what Netflix is doing and streaming services and stuff, but sort of, you know, kind of trying to mould the show into that sort of shape, I guess, and to be more like that, and to kind of redefine Doctor Who for a new era and for the streaming age. You know, so I guess there is a part of it that is that, but I do kind of just hope it's not kind of going to go crazy in the wrong way, you know, and I think other people have been sort of saying this as well. You know, we don't want to kind of to lose what makes it Doctor Who, if that makes sense. You know, it's all very well to have your big budgets and stuff, and yeah, to triple your budget, you know, to have all this money, to have all these resources and stuff. But I just hope they don't sort of lose sight, you know, of what Doctor Who is and what it means, of that whole kind of philosophy of, you know, using very little resources and kind of making something magical out of that, and sort of defeating the odds and actually, you know, doing something amazing with very little. You know, that's kind of the one thing that I would say, and that I've seen reflected online as well. But yeah, I think overall, you know, with this, it's important to not put too much of a downer on it, because this is great news potentially for the show and for spin-offs and stuff, and for the wider sort of world of Doctor Who. It's a very, very exciting time. We're on the cusp potentially of a really, really interesting time for the show, and it could just explode with this whole Disney Plus deal. And once it gets going next year with the specials, with Series 14, with Ncuti, it is potentially going to be really, really massive, which is very, very exciting to think about. I mean, I think I would kind of say, temper expectations. Don't get too carried away with all this sort of stuff. It's very easy to look at the figures and the numbers and stuff and, 10 million quid, and think that's kind of instantly going to solve all the show's problems and stuff. Like, I'm sure there will still be an element of trying to make stuff on a shoestring. Even if they do have loads of money, even if they had all the money in the world, there would still be problems, or there still wouldn't be enough time or anything like that, or enough money, So I think, it's kind of important to look at this both ways, really, in terms of, yes, it's exciting, yes, this is potentially huge news for the show, but at the same time, we don't know everything about this. It is just kind of a headline at the end of the day. It's a figure, it's money. We don't know how that all works, really. But yes, this is potentially very, very exciting stuff for the show. And also just with the whole Disney Plus thing as well, I've sort of touched on the channel already. Disney Plus isn't something that I personally have yet myself. Maybe I will do one day. I mean, it's not like I need it for Doctor Who at the moment, obviously, because that's still going to be on iPlayer in the UK. But certainly for all you guys watching that aren't in the UK, to have this facility at your disposal now, next year for these new episodes, is incredibly exciting and really, really great, to have this a streamlined way to watch the show now in a country other than the UK. So yeah, again, just very, very exciting, hugely exciting stuff with all this. And just really looking forward to seeing how it all ends up, really, and what ends up happening, and whether we do get these spin-offs and stuff. I mean, that's another thing, with the spin-offs and stuff. There's been loads of speculation about how that might work, and maybe there's stuff we don't know about that's already been signed off or whatever, or in development. But again, stuff like that, it will take time, I guess. That's the thing, really, isn't it? With all this sort of stuff, it's not going to happen overnight. But at the same time, the prospect of all that is really, really exciting stuff. So you let me know your thoughts on all this down in the comments below, on Disney Plus, on this headline, on this kind of news that Doctor Who's budget is about to soar to 10 million from 1 to 3 million. Very, very exciting potentially for the show. And also it's worth saying as well, actually, this week at the time of recording, literally just a couple of days away from now, the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine is going to go on sale. They've promised it's going to be a very special issue in terms of kind of ushering in this new era, maybe with David Tennant on the cover. I mean, I would think that's probably quite likely, to be honest, or Ncuti, or both of them, maybe alternate covers or something, probably with the new logo on as well, I would guess. So that is something else that's going to be very exciting, coming very soon, and I will be covering that on the channel if anything kind of comes out of that issue in terms of news, interviews, announcements, whatever. So do stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more stuff like this in the future, more kind of news and updates and developments on the new series, as well as stuff about the old eras as well of the show. Please leave a like as well in this video if you have enjoyed it, and if you'd like to support the channel in a bigger way, a more substantial way, feel free to check out the link to my Patreon page in the video description. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, goodbye for now.